Today we have background building day 4. We are learning all about that really cold place. Who remembers the name of the new ecosystem that we're learning about? Giovanni?
This is
No, you.
is the Arctic.
Yes, the Arctic. It's really cold there, the Arctic tundra. That's what we're learning about. Yesterday we learned all about how dogs helped humans in the Arctic. Today we're learning about something that's really cool and can also be a little bit funny. We are learning about Arctic chimeras. Now you're probably wondering, well, what is a chimera? Well, we're going to learn all about this. Long ago, people like to imagine creatures that were made up of more than just one type of animal. So it's not real, they're imagining it. So what kind of animals do you see in this picture? What is she imagining? Giovanni?
Is a lion.
A lion. Do you see any other animals in it?
And he got a tail.
A tail. Could be like a snake. Anyone else? Okay.
Maybe a horse.
It could be a horse.
Maybe.
Now this animal is not real. She's just imagining this animal. Pretend creatures made up of many types of animal parts are called chimeras. So a chimera is just an imaginary animal that is made up of different parts of animals. So it's not real, but the people in the Arctic like to tell stories about chimeras. So they weren't real, they were just stories. But you might recognize some of the chimeras in today's stories too. What do you see here? Okay.
Unicorn.
A unicorn, that's a chimera because it's not real.
It's not real.
It's a mermaid.
No, mermaid is a American.
And what's this one, Kay?
What's that one, Kay?
A mermaid.
A mermaid. A mermaid is not real either. That's our chimera. So imagine an Arctic polar bear with the wings of an eagle. If a predator animal with the size and strength of a polar bear swooped down from the sky, its prey would not stand a chance because polar bears are huge. So the really fun thing about imagining chimera is that you can give your creature any kind of adaptive features. So you can give it more than one feature of any animal so it can survive in its ecosystem. Imagine an animal from another ecosystem, not the Arctic, has been magically transported to the Arctic. So say an animal from the desert, we just transported it to the Arctic. We need to help think of all the body parts that it might need to survive in the Arctic. So now we're going to create our own chimera creature. So what if a giraffe got transported to the Arctic? We know that giraffes usually live in the savanna, and the savanna is hot and dry, and there's a lot of grass. So what's different about the savanna and the Arctic? What's different about these two ecosystems? Okay.
The giraffe has to go on the hot one.
Yeah, the giraffe has to go on the hot one, but
If it goes on the cold one, it will be freezing.
it will be. So we are going to create a chimera using the giraffe to help the giraffe survive in the Arctic. So we know that the Arctic is really cold and has very high winds. So just like Kay said, the giraffe would have trouble staying warm because they're so used to being in the savanna. So let's think about what the giraffe might need to survive in the Arctic. What does the giraffe need? What kind of features can we take from other animals and put on the giraffe and turn it into a chimera? Amelia?
Long fur.
Yeah, that would be kind of funny, right? A giraffe with a really long fur.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely needs fur to stay warm, just like all the other animals in the Arctic. Giraffes have really short fur to avoid overheating in the savanna because the savanna is really hot. But they will not have that same problem in the Arctic tundra. So like Amelia said, the giraffe needs long fur. And we know that Arctic animals have 2 layers of fur to keep them warm. They have soft fur right next to their skin, and then they have an upper layer of long and very thick hair. So 2 layers of fur can keep their body heat inside like a big blanket. Birds in the Arctic, like the snowy owl, they have a thick layer of feathers. And they're like really close together, so they're packed together to keep the heat in. But under their feathers, they actually have like more fluffy down feathers that keep them warm. So you'll see these. Sometimes you'll see these floating around in the air too that came from a bird. That's cool. Now, we know that polar bears are also part of the ocean ecosystem, so they have to go swim in the really icy Arctic Ocean. Have you ever jumped into a pool or went into the water that was really cold? Or maybe you were playing outside with water and the water was really cold? What did you feel after you got out of the water? Amelia?
When I was younger, I went into my grandmother's sprinkler with my cousins, and when I got out of the water, I was really cold.
Yeah, it can be really freezing, really freezing. So the first thing we like to do when we get out is grab a towel and put it around us like a blanket to keep our warmth in. So polar bears have adapted to their environment. They have lots of features to help them survive. We know they have thick fur, they have fat that keeps them warm, and then they have their furry coat on top, which keeps the body in. But they also have another thing that helps them keep warm. They have their nose and their paws. Their nose and their paws are black. So the black skin on their paws and their nose absorbs the heat, which also helps to keep them warm. Look at our giraffe. If we want our giraffe chimera to survive in the Arctic, polar bear fur could help it stay warm and survive. He looks funny, a furry giraffe. Giraffes camouflage into the savanna because it's nice. It's yellow grasses, green trees, but they would really stand out in the Arctic white snow because giraffes are yellow with spots. And you would see that in the Arctic because everything is white. But many animals in the Arctic, they have fur that changes color in the different seasons. So in the winter, their skin is white, their fur is white, and then in the summer, it's like a light brown. Now, how can the prey animals change color? How can that help them? How does them changing color help them? Jaden?
You stay camouflage.
Yeah, because they camouflage. They can hide from big, scary predators. So now our giraffe chimera has to change color with the seasons. So that will help it camouflage better in the Arctic tundra. Now remember, this chimera is not real. It's just like the mermaid. We're just making it up and giving it features to help it survive. What about the giraffe's long, thin legs and small hooves? Remember, the Arctic ground is frozen and it's slippery. So we need to give the giraffe some legs and feet that will be good for the Arctic. What feet should we give him? Alana?
The white ones.
Yeah, we can give him polar bear feet. That's funny. Let's see. Look at the polar bear's paw. It's so furry and it's very wide so that he can grip the ice. And he has lots of fur covering his feet so he can stay warm, just like we do when we wear big boots in the winter. Sometimes our boots even have fur in them, just like animals, to keep them warm, to keep their feet warm. So we could give our chimera giraffe furry paws and sharp claws like the Arctic polar bear or the hare, because sharp claws are useful for gripping onto the snow. They won't slide everywhere. This is the ptarmigan. It has one of the best adapted bird feet for the Arctic climate. His feet actually have scales, so the scales can grip onto the slippery ice. The ptarmigan. It's a nice little white bird. The ptarmigan also has feathers on his feet to keep it warm, just like the polar bears have fur. But since the giraffe is already used to having hooves, it might make sense to give our chimera hooves like the caribou. Remember our caribou or the reindeer? They're wider. They're wider than the giraffes because they need to grip onto the ice and they don't sink down into the snow. So we've got some feet. Now we need to think about ears. So animals in the Arctic in the cold will have smaller ears that are closer to their head and covered in fur. This helps to keep them warm. But look at the desert ecosystem. Look at their ears. Their ears are really big because it's hot in the desert. Yep. So we know that some ears are big for the hot weather, small for the cold weather. Their size and shape also can help it hear sounds, just like we hear sounds. and this is useful for finding predators or prey. The Arctic fox has pointy ears that can catch the sounds of prey animals that are close. But prey animals, the ones that are hiding, have bigger ears. They're longer and pointed so they can hear the sneaky predator like the Arctic fox coming up behind them maybe. So let's give our giraffe some pointed hair ears. We can give him the bunny ears so he can hear his predators better, because we know that there are predators out for the giraffe. Now look at our giraffe. We created our own chimera giraffe. What do you think? You think it's cool looking, funny looking, cute? Okay.
Funny looking.
Right? That is a funny looking animal.
He got a dress on with his hair. It's his hair.
No, but it looks like a dress up.
It looks like a dress.
But
It
it's
does.
his hair. Huh.
So let's say we took our chimera and put it back in the savannah. Just like this, with all this fur, with these long ears and these wide hooves. Do you think that he would do well in the savannah with this body type? Emilia's saying no. Jaden has thoughts. What are you thinking, Jaden?
Yeah.
You think he'll do well in the savannah?
Yeah, because it's fluffy.
Well, he is.
And it has hair.
Yes, he needs to be very furry to be in the cold, but does he need to be very furry to be in the hot weather? No, so he will not do too well in the savannah. So now for today, for your message, you're actually going to create your own chimera. So you can make a funny looking animal, one that can survive in the Arctic. So make sure it's super furry, and you got to give it a funky name. So your message will be, my animal has, tell me what your animal has, and then give it a funky name. Okay, I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. You can give it big ears, small ears, big feet, whatever you want. You got to use your imagination. All right, let's go over our syllables. Giraffe, giraffe. Chimera, chimera. Polar bear, polar bear. Fur, fur. Hair, hair. Ptarmigan, ptarmigan. Snowy owl, snowy owl. Good job. Caribou, caribou. Feathers, feathers. All right. So before you go, you're not going to share your message with me, but you are going to tell me one feature that your animal is going to have. So it could be big ears, it could be big feet, it can be a furry tail, it can be sharp teeth. Tell me one feature that your animal is going to have, okay?
Baby feathers like a peacock.
Yeah, I like that. You can do lots of feathers to keep it warm. I like that.
Mr. Morrow,
Yes.
I had a picnic with my family and I saw the black brown feather.
Oh, that's so
And
beautiful.
we saw the animal.
Ducks. Bye.
Oh, that's so cute. Okay.
And I miss you.
I miss you too.
I wish we can go back to school again.
I know. Soon. Hopefully.
Ow.
All right. But I'll see you all soon. All right. Go ahead.
Bye.
Bye. All right, Alana, what is one feature your chimera is going to have?
A big ears.
Big ears. There you go. Maybe it's gonna have big ears, but they have to be furry to keep it warm.
That's it. Now sentence.
That's it. No sentence. You are going to do your sentence.
You are, but you're gonna draw your picture and then write your message about your picture, but your picture's not done yet.
Okay.
Right? All right, I love Giancarlos, what is one feature your chimera is going to have?
Big feet.
Big feet, and make sure you put lots of fur on them. Okay? Make them super furry. Or feathers. All right.
I can't wait.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a good day.
Giovanni.
Is I love puffy feet. Puffy.
Okay, so your animal is gonna have paws.
Uh-huh.
Right, you're making your own animal that's going to survive in the Arctic tundra. All right? Okay, Giovanni. Bye-bye. Emilia?
My animal's going to have. My chimera is going to have.
You had your hand up.
Lots of fur.
Lots of fur, definitely. I'm thinking about my animal. I'm gonna give my animal a unicorn horn.
Like a normal.
All right. Yeah. See you later. Jaden, what's one feature your chimera is going to have? No.
Could we
Why?
do a shark?
You can do a shark. Remember the narwhal that has a unicorn horn?
Yeah.
You can do a shark, or you can do a furry shark. That would be funny.
Do you have shark teeth though?
Yeah, you can do shark teeth. Oh, you can do a shark with legs.
Yeah.
All right. You draw something nice, all right?
Okay, bye.
Where did you go?
Love you.
I love you.
Bye-bye.